So I don't know how long this video will last. I want to try to get into depth about, you know, who I was when I was younger. I know it's nothing to do, you know, for anyone's benefit, but I guess it's more of a, what would you call it? It's not a testimony. It's an admitting, you know. But I don't know how long this will last because I'm currently waiting for a delivery. I had a couple so far, and I woke up, pretty much early. So I figured why not go out, try to at least make some money to pay up on a bill and try to put some gas in the car. And it ain't much gas because the price of gas now. But I was just, while I was waiting for delivery, I was just thinking about the who I was when I was younger. And I recall a pastor that brought me to God, and he was like it seemed like he was an interrogator. He would go and ask questions to find out what your motive and your intentions were. There was no trust whatsoever with him. And it goes to show you, when I saw him preaching after I got saved, it was Easter Sunday, and he was preaching, and he was up there talking, and I just felt the fire in me that I wanted to do the same thing, so I shared it with him. So I guess he met with his board members. And you know how in the Christian walk, how God wants us to give, irregardless of, what the deal is. Give and it will be given to you. There were no stipulations with that. And so I should have said no if I knew then what I know now. But then again, things would have changed. Maybe I could have thought of an alternate way of going. But he sent me to the Bible college that he went to. And, I met a lot of great people there. There's a bunch of them that I still remain friends with. And, it was such a great year. But, this church had me under a contract that they had to approve of the job I did during the summer. And I had to promise to get good grades. I should have just forgot about their help. That's what I should have done. So that contract was against me. And it wasn't until years later that I found out that it was an ungodly contract. And I had to have that broken off because it was just against me. So, whether you believe it or not, in the heavenlies, such contracts under God can be broken. So through God, I had that broken off me. And I felt like it was still like weighing against me, against my character, against who I am currently. As if I would never live up the past mistakes that I have made. And of course, that I just found out that the pastor that brought me to God had passed away within, I think, of the last couple of years. But, I made sure, just so you know, at the conclusion, years ago, I asked for his forgiveness. So, of course, I went to the Bible college. Of course, I didn't get good grades, but I made attempts at trying to get good grades, in which I think in some subjects I did. But other subjects I could not. So, of course, according to that, I broke that contract. And they had to approve of what I did during the summer. That was broken. And to me, it just seemed nothing but tyranny. It wasn't trust. And not saying that I wasn't grateful for the church sending me there, because like I said, I met a lot of great brothers and sisters. But just what happened between me and that pastor, and what happened to me character-wise, it hurt, But, I was young. I was like 19, 20. I was immature. So in that immaturity, I made immature decisions. And the decisions I've made, I look back on it now, I wouldn't have made them, knowing then what I know now. And, the church had, used their funds to send me, back to school. I mean, what could I do? I obviously couldn't work when I went up to Canada, and the Bible college was in Canada. I couldn't work up there because I'm a United States citizen. So I obviously couldn't save up to get a plane ticket. So the church had to help me, so that's what they did. So, when I went home, I think for Christmas break, I was, I think, on my way home, and there was they had an option for somebody that their flight could be bumped to help somebody else out. And in the place of it, they could get tickets wherever they need to go. So I opted for that, which I had to wait in the plane station longer. But that was all right. So, I helped, I believe, these people out. And so it wasn't that my flight was moved. I mean, it was a different flight, but I was going on a jet back, I believe, to where I was going. And so, I did that. And in turn, they gave me a free plane ticket. At this time, I was in an internet relationship with a girl in Seattle. And she was younger than me, like a few years younger. And we had been, talking for a year. We had planned on meeting, and I mean, from what I knew at that time, she was such a great person, and I wanted to meet her. And so I had made my plane ticket to go exactly there. So why not go visit my aunt, who I haven't seen for years, and stay with her? So I asked her if I could stay with her. And so, being that the pastor that brought me to God and who put me under this contract started asking me questions. So why was your flight longer? How come you waited at the airport? So he had ways of finding out what I was doing, what my intentions were, what happened. And I said that, well, there was these people that needed my flight, so I gave them my flight, and so he asked, so did they give you anything for that? I'm like, you have a way of finding out exactly what's going on, So I ended up getting a plane ticket. I told him, and he said, so are you going to use that ticket to get back and forth from home? And like I said, knowing then what I know now, I would have used that ticket for home, to go back and forth from college, to relieve the church. I didn't think of that at that time because, like I said, I was immature. It was about what I wanted. And so, so all this stuff was against me. And, eventually, I would always send back and forth with this pastor emails, and I'd send him emails about, problems that I had. He would start it off, and I would complain about, what I was going through, what the deal is, how I feel he was making me feel, and he would always dispute with what I was having to say. And he, in the past, he would sit in his car and he would go over the email I sent him, trying to justify himself. And so, after I was done with school, it got to the point, he came up with a friend, my mother and my friend. He came up with her. And knowing at this time too, my friends gave me like their phone card, to talk to my girlfriend. Well, I would say she was my internet girlfriend. And I would talk to her for a year, but they gave me their card. I didn't think of it at the time, and I kick myself, even to this day, for doing what I had done. I used their phone card and jacked up their bill. And, of course, at the end of it, I felt bad. And so, all these different decisions that were faulty that I made were against me, character-wise. So this pastor went and picked me up, and he was just coming against me for the decisions I was making. And I got to the point to where I was like, I'm sick of this. I said, stop the car. So I'm going to have to, start this this video again because I got a delivery. So I will try to finish it.